Hello there. Today we are gonna take a look at the ThreeFoldComics, a perfect blend of manga, sci-fi, Mad Max, and an extra something that makes Nima a new creator to watch. But before we go into detail, I need to remind you of one important thing, which is that I am no financial advisor, and I would recommend you go into the description of this video and click on the provided links, because everything that I will talk about will be listed right there. Because at the end of the day, I am just a random person talking about stuff that I can see on my screen, which is why you always should do your own research, because if you lose money on a project that I will show you in the past, in the present or the future, it's on you and not on me. And with that said, let's jump into the details of the ThreeFoldComic. And right on the top of their website, we can see a preview of the comic. And at the beginning of this video, we can see a short little review of Brandon McCartney, which is a person you might know. Besides this, we can see some examples of the artwork which you can see in the comic. And obviously, I will not spoil the entire story for you, but to briefly sum this up, there are two childhood friends, the blonde guy and the one that looks like Drake, which have a dispute in which the blonde guy kills a bunch of miners, leading to Drake being mad and those two having an argument. But as I said, I don't want to spoil the entire story, but in a couple of minutes or seconds we will see. I will show you how to download the preview, in which you can already read almost 40 pages of this comic. And if you are interested in this project, below the trailer you can find a registration for their whitelist. But keep in mind that this is no guaranteed whitelist spot, because there are like 250 whitelist spots given away. And I don't know if those 250 all will be given away like this. So keep in mind that this only gives you the chance of a whitelist spot and not guarantees it. And at the end of the day, since this is an NFT, at the last day of March this year, at 9 AM PST will be the whitelist pre-sale, and at 4 PM PST will then be the public sale, in which you have the chance to buy your ThreeFoldComic dependent on if you have a whitelist spot or not. And now let's take a look at the utility of this project, because every single NFT comes with a real-life copy of a glow-in-the-dark and a Street Mag mint disc. And since these are physical copies, obviously they will not be instantly at your home, because they need to be produced and shipped. The shipping is then scheduled for May and July 2022. And because I do believe that this will be done manually, a 4-month window is fine for me. And you already saw that there are multiple rarities, but what are the differences in these specific rarities? So first of all, there are the commons, which there are almost 6,000 standard editions of those. Then there are 250 rare ones with mini sketch and signatures of the artist, I believe. And next up are the super rares, which are fully sketched with signatures. And lastly, which only 5 of those will be created, giving you a full sketch and a signature as the super rare does, but you will also receive a page of original art from the comic. And keep in mind that there are only 6,200 of those comics in total, meaning that this might be something of value for a collector. And just imagine that you might get lucky and even get one of those rarer ones, because there are like 5% that you get one of those rare, super rare or ultra rare, which might be very valuable in the future. And now let's take a look at the specifications. The comic comes with 60 pages and a deluxe square-bound physical book only available to forge at mint. And since you will get a physical copy of this comic, and this comic has a glow-in-the-dark feature, which I will explain in detail in a second, you will also receive a 395 nanometer black light UV torch. And as another disclaimer, since this is UV light, if you receive one of those torches, don't stare into it, because this might hurt your eyes. Next up, there is the roadmap, because the project is planning not only in the present, but also for the future. Starting with the Street Mag mint disc, which will give you access to mint a high quality 3D avatar PFP. Next up are the annual comics, so probably annually you will receive a 50-page long black and white manga style comic airdropped to your wallet. And since there are a lot of artists out there, they have the plan to invite guest artists for their comics. And before I show you how you can read through the comic, because I do think that this is pretty hard to read even though I have a pretty big screen in front of me, we will talk about the team. Because the only thing that makes something like this possible is teamwork, which makes the future possible. So the team consists of 4 people. Starting with Nima, which is the project lead and the main artist behind this project. Next up is Victor, which is the project manager, followed by Coolmat, which is the community moderator, and Coops, which is the digital artist. And now let's take a look at how the glow-in-the-dark feature of this project works. So as you can see, he's holding one of those comics in his hands, and by shining the UV light on the pages, you can see that those kinda get charged, which leads to luminescence, which I will not explain since this physical chemical shit gets pretty stupid quickly. And now lastly, if you are interested in this project, I would recommend you go on their homepage, click on artist, and at the bottom you can find some examples of the art. And the only thing you gotta do to receive a PDF of the preview is to join their mailing list, which I have done, and as you can see, you get 48 pages of the comic. And since the odd numbers are the normal pages and the even numbers of the PDF, and the even number of the PDF is the glow in the dark page, this is technically the same page, meaning that you will only receive 19 of those 60 pages the comic will have in total. And to be honest, I do like the idea of this special kind of comic, and the art looks sick too, but my favorite from those 5 is the comic black, because I do like Star Wars and I do like Alien, and this is a combination of those 2 movies or comics, whatever. And keep in mind that we all know that the idea behind those characters isn't from the artist, but this is a great way to show the skills the artist has. Which leads us to the end of this video, in which I once more want to remind you that this is no financial advice, and you should do your own research, because I am just a random guy talking about stuff that I personally like. And with that said, have a nice rest of your day.